Life Lessons is an interview series of Thoughtworks, which allows us to learn from the experience and perspectives of captivating and inspiring personalities who are committed to break new grounds.
So then welcome to, I think, the third episode of Life Lessons for Thoughtworks, and with our guest today, York Hovest. Welcome. The projects in general, you have rather a lot projects that you had in the past already. And so the question would be like, how do you approach new projects or new ideas that you have in mind and that you would like to work on?
Well, let's put it this way. First of all, I'm more or less hooked with that one main project right now. I used to do many different things in the past, as I'm a photographer and book author for National Geographic, but this is more or less my third project called Heroes of the Sea. And this is, I wouldn't say a never-ending story, but I want to make it that big that it keeps me so busy that I will do that for my probably entire life. I've been traveling a lot during the past 15 years, and everything has started in the year 2010 almost, when I met His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And before that, I was doing completely different. I was in fashion business, and I didn't like that very much. So I had this kind of mind shift. And yeah, I wrote him a letter. He replied to me, and then everything came together like match made in heaven. Yes. And from that point on, I was doing expedition worldwide, and then writing book, making documentary films, and became a speaker. Yeah.
Well, that sounds like that thing you mentioned earlier was, so you were not satisfied with the previous state when you worked in the like more design or clothing industry, you said?
Yeah, I worked in fashion business for like 10 years, and I realized that it's, first of all, it's very competitive, that business, and it's very kind of selfish. And I knew that I cannot be unique in that business anymore, because I mean, more or less everybody can be a photographer right now. So if you want to become successful in photography business, you have to find that certain USP which keeps focus on a certain thing where you can grow and become huge or famous or whatever. But the rest is kind of overexposed, I would say, because photography is a tough business at the moment. Everybody can be a photographer, and rates are getting very low. And I just didn't like the business anymore, because I realized that it's nothing deep and it's nothing senseful. You know, you just take a picture, let's say, of a beautiful girl in a beautiful dress. It's going to be published in a magazine, and next month there's another magazine, and that's it. So I thought, I was wondering myself, what will I tell my children later, what I'm being doing? And that's why I wrote that letter to the Dalai Lama. Completely different story, but it came out of nowhere, and I got lucky. He responds, and that turned everything in a new perspective for my life.
And then you first shifted in the fashion industry to become a photographer, and then you even switched the domain.
Right. Well, as you mentioned, I was in front of the camera, and but when I remember being a child, I was always interested in the technology of taking photos, but like a tourist, like we all are. And during all these holidays and vacation with my dad or with my parents, I used to take the pictures. But let's put it this way, for my parents, it was not a talent which we can focus on. So it was more like a hobby for me. And then I went into that model fashion business, and I kept observing the photographers whenever they shoot me. And I learned everything by each shooting on the set. So that was the best lessons in my life. So I kept observing these photographers, how they propose the lights, the setting, the cameras. And then I thought, okay, I probably can do it myself. And that works pretty well. So I opened a little studio here in Munich. I had all my clients already, and I got hired for magazines and catalog stuff. But at the end, I was really unhappy by doing that, because I felt this competitive, selfish business so hard, and there was nothing left after the day, you know. So I always wanted to do something else with photography, exploring the world, you know, finding cultures and having something deep, something intense, you know, something which might be interesting for everybody and not just for short period fashion business stuff.
Okay, and that's where you then also had, you said you had the idea from writing the Dalai Lama a bit out of nowhere, and then it worked, and you went there, right?
Well, it's a long story. First, I read a book about him because I knew that he's just he's a refugee, and he's the holy leader of all Tibetan people. And I was thinking about how can this person, or how could the Tibetan community still believe in this man if they haven't seen him for more than 60 years? And I felt so much compassion by thinking about him that I thought of writing him a letter and offering him a story, like a solution for the Tibetans, that I going to be the link for the Tibetan community, that I will travel to Tibet, be his eyes and his ears to discover what's left after he had to flee from his country. And that was the mission, that was the intention of that letter. So I wrote him that I want to help him. And as he told me later, I was probably the first person who ever offered help. Normally it's the other way around, you know, people who see the Dalai Lama, who wants to meet him, they asking for help. But I didn't ask for anything. I wanted to offer my help to him. I'm not a journalist, but I did a great journalism work in Tibet with all my writings and my film material, the photos and everything I capture, you know. So I turned being a photographer and a journalist in once. And then I realized, when I came back after 100 days, I realized that this is my fully passion of what I always wanted to do. And that has been proved. I mean, we sold the book 10,000 times all over the world, and I kind of became famous with that project out of nowhere. And I really felt it's exactly what I wanted to do, you know. And yeah, that's how life can change in just a thought.
Yeah, and from there, you then started applying at National Geographic and becoming a photographer there.
Well, that was not that easy. First of all, I came back with all these tons of materials, of pictures and material of stories, you know, and I asked every publishing house in Germany if they would publish my book, but they said no. Everybody said no. They said no, we wouldn't do that. And but they couldn't explain me the reason why they said no to me. And I thought my pictures are not good enough, my story are not good enough. And it took me more than 5 years to discover that it was not my fault that they couldn't take my book, couldn't publish my book. And I realized that these are political issues. And at the final end, when I was kind of depressed by thinking about my project, actually my wife told me, York, why don't you send the whole project also to National Geographic? That was your biggest dream. And I said, okay, I thought it's too big for me, National Geographic, after everybody said no. But they reply after 10 minutes, and they wrote me, that's an incredible story. Come and visit us. We're going to do that book with you. And yeah, so you see, you never know what happened, but things are going to happen. So
just do it. Yeah. With a letter to the Dalai Lama, like everybody's thinking, oh, that's too big and nobody will reply, or he will not reply. And then the same with National Geographic, like maybe that's too big, I don't know.
In both times, all my friends and family, everybody I know told me, you can't do that. That's impossible. You will never achieve. You will never get an answer. You cannot write an email to Nat Geo. You're nobody. You know, I kept hearing this my whole life. And then I always asked them, did you try it? How can you be so confident telling me that it's impossible of what you want to do? And I guess that was the point when I proved everybody wrong, you know. So don't listen too much to people. Just follow your path. Do what you want to do.
Yeah, and yeah, then just write the email or call someone or
just believe in yourself.
From there was then was it 2015 or when you had this journey or this exhibition with Sea Shepherd, I think
this came later after the Tibet project. I mean, imagine for the first time you get into press, you know, you get into TV, journalism, all that media concentrating on you. They set you up, they tell you, you know, that book really can make you famous. And then everybody is asking, okay, York, what's next? How can you even top the first main project? And I was thinking, but I never invented something out of nowhere. I thought into myself and I was listening to my soul. What am I interested in? Yeah, what do I care of? So, and the environment of our planet was always a big issue for me. And I had the chance to travel a lot with my parents when I was a child. And I realized that what I discovered the last 20 years was the Amazon rainforest, yeah, and this region, Peru, Ecuador, Brazil, Venezuela, this area is so important for us, for the climate, for everything, and also the indigenous people in there, you know. And I've been there when I was 17 years old. So I thought that this could be my second project. And yeah, that was 2015. I set it up and I went to South America in 128 days and I explored 6 indigenous people which were very threatened, and I wanted to find out which are the ones which are almost getting so close to these gold miners, to these people who just want to take the land to put soy fields and stuff, you know. So I wanted to put a focus to these people who are really in danger, to protect them. And this project went very successful as well, because we could stop a few actions there directly in the jungle. And so, yeah, that's the way this second mission also went very well. It doesn't went that famous like the first one, because people thought, okay, Amazon rainforest, I have seen tons of books already. But just for my intention, it was very successful. And then, yeah, of course, people keep asking you, what's next? Yeah, what's next? So the pressure went very high, very high. And then I realized by 2016 or 17 that deeply in my heart, there's the ocean, the water, the ocean. What is happening out there? What can we all see out there every day? What's going on with all that polluted areas, plastic, fishes? The whole ecosystem is almost gone, you know?
Maybe one direction, what you mentioned a couple of times about the pressure and the expectations that you had, then like you had this first big project where everybody said like, you're not going to make it, you will not accept or whatever. And then the second one, and everybody's still rejecting and saying, you're not going to make it and so on. And then they in turn like have expectations for your next big thing, the next like huge project. How did you cope with this, or like had you any anxieties or anything else? And yeah.
Well, let's say maybe not anxieties, but the first thing about when you start a project like this, you need a financial support, and I never had any financial support for that. So of course I was looking for a cooperation partner, people who could fund me in a way. But after Tibet and Amazon, it became very difficult, very difficult. And I thought, how do I going to manage to do a project which is even much bigger than a certain country like Tibet or the Amazon rainforest? Because we're talking about the ocean, and that means you have to realize a global project. And that was really tough. But in this time, I heard about crowdfunding, and I did a crowdfunding to get the support from friends and family members. But even then I get, I wouldn't say disappointed, but I realized that the amount I was asking for, which was 100,000 K these days, was at first not much, but on the other hand, it was too much to collect that amount from friends and from people I know, from my own network. You know, it was a very uncommon thing to do to go on Kickstarter and investing in something which is not ready yet. I mean, I was offering, I was saying that I have a project to solve the problems in the ocean, but I couldn't prove it. So how could you invest in such an idea, you know? And there was a lot of pressure. But then suddenly, as I already said, little by little, things comes out of nowhere. I had this angel guy coming to me, and he offered me to go to Davos, to the World Economic Forum, to talk about this project and to ask for funding, to ask for support. And this was tough. I will never forget that moment when I had only 2 days left, and it was like 70,000 euro missing, and I had 2 days to bring that on stage in Davos. And oh my God, I got goosebumps thinking about that. It was probably the most difficult thing in my life. But I went there and I achieved. We fund that project in the last, I don't know, 40 minutes by raising that amount to the Kickstarter campaign. And that was the sign from heaven that I'm on the right way. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. And that was the start. Yeah. And then, as you said, the first expedition went to West Africa, and I joined the Sea Shepherd on their patrol.
Maybe as a short context thing, maybe for the audience, because Kickstarter, I think, takes back the money if you do not achieve the goal, right? That is the issue.
Exactly, that's the pressure. If you would reach only 99,000 euro, they would get everything back. Everybody who donated get their money back. So the pressure is enormous, high and tight. It's a psychological roller coaster trip in your head. Yeah, it's really tough. It's really tough. I mean, you know a couple of stories and trips I did, and many people ask me what was the most dangerous, difficult thing. There's nothing compared to doing a Kickstarter crowdfunding. Nothing. I would rather row the Atlantic Ocean again.
Exactly, that was the point where I was sitting. Like, so you're saying this is the most exciting or most difficult thing you did, compared even to crossing the Atlantic with a rowing boat. So yeah, we already scratched the new project, Heroes of the Sea. Do you want to give a short or a rough sketch of it, what it is?
Yeah. So the Heroes of the Sea today became a global network with all the solutions we could find on our Earth. And it is a database. Think about Wikipedia, but more visualized with photos and short explanations and pictures. And this database explains you exactly the solutions you were looking for. So if you go to the network Heroes of the Sea, you will find those categories. For example, you're taking care of animal health care. You can click on the animals in the ocean, and you find all the projects, all the NGOs, all the initiatives who take care of animals. For example, whaling, illegal fishing, seals, icebergs, whatever. You know, there are hundreds. Or maybe it's just you have plastic in your mind. Your issue is plastic and you don't care about other things, but you want to see the solutions for plastic. So you can click on the category plastic and you find dozens of initiatives, inventions, and really great projects who are solving the problem in our oceans today. And this is what's really inspiring. I mean, people are, at the moment, we all think we have destroyed the planet already. We're shocked because we have no solution, no good news. We're seeing all that bad things in media every day, consuming all this social media. Bad things happen every day, but it's not like this. I mean, we know how it is. We're not that stupid. We know exactly how things work, but now we're looking for solution. We have a future. We have a responsibility for our children to save that planet. And these people, they are heroes for me. So I put them all together on the database for the other people to make them visible. Mm-hmm. That's how it works.
I think also you started like in the speech you had at the Globetrotter in Stuttgart, you were talking about also coral bleaching.
Yeah, one topic. Yeah.
One of those topics, I think was it in Thailand, or where have you been there?
Well, imagine we have a global belt in the middle of the equator where most of the coral lives, and most of these places became too hot. The water temperature rises from to 1 or 2 degrees, and that makes this coral bleach and obviously die. So, and that's a big problem. And global warming is the main issue for that. But even there, we have solutions. Brave people who are doing something against that coral bleaching. They call Coral Nursery, and it's really worth to check it out. As you know, I have published a 3rd book, which is called Heroes of the Sea, little advertising, and we have the same name documentary film, Heroes of the Sea, where I explain everything particular. And but this is just one little fragment of all the solutions around the world. I can give you an example by the NGO Plastic Bank. One project I visited during my project, and we went to Haiti in the Caribbean Sea, which is a very poor country. And this country, it's unbelievable how it looks like. It's like a catastrophic world. You know, that place has been threatened by natural catastrophes like earthquake, hurricanes. The political system is totally corrupt. So the people are very poor in Haiti. And imagine you don't have a trash system. You just have canals where people throw their trash into, and everything flows to the ocean all over the place. I mean, that place looks like a nightmare scene. And that project, Plastic Bank, which we visited 3 years ago, found a solution there. They acknowledged the people to pick up the plastic material, to bring it to a recycling station. In exchange, they get electricity or money for that. So, and by that, people's wealth state gets better. They get out of poverty, and they help cleaning the environment where they live in. And the best is that recycled material goes back into Europe, into our economic circle. So whenever you buy a product which is marked on the logo with social plastic, you're already helping the third world by that. You're already helping as a consumer. It's not like don't use plastic, it's doing the right thing. You know, plastic is the best material we ever invented, but find a way to use those sustainable products which has been recycled from material of the third world, and then you help even these people. And these are the invention I mentioned. You know, we have dozen projects like this who are nearly doing the same like this one in Haiti, and it works. It works. Mm-hmm. So solution exists, but people don't know about it, and that's all about.
Mm-hmm. So that's like also purpose of the platform to educate the people about all the different solutions that exist for many problems that are connected to the sea, like plastic, coral bleaching, animal
Right.
killing stuff. So when
Well,
you set up the project, how did you find new players in that network for the platform? How did you do your research?
well, that's a big part. I mean, everything you find starts on the internet by doing research. You're researching projects all over the world, and step by step, you're expanding the database and you connect NGOs to each other, and they have even projects which you don't know, so they can connect you back, and then it grows and grows and grows. We have now over 300 projects on Heroes of the Sea, and it's expanding every day. So I guess there are about 700 to 800 projects out there, and I'm going to find them all. First of all, you have to prove them. First of all, you have to make sure that it makes sense what they do, that it's not greenwashing or something, because even these projects exist. So it's a lot of doing research in the internet, and then of course you make a connection. You meet the CEO. You might travel there. You see them in the place they work. And then you edit him to the system. That's how it works. Mm-hmm. And for that, we did the book and the documentary from Heroes of the Sea to get a closer view into the work they do. And we definitely have every category you can imagine, not only by plastic or animal welfare. We also have energy topics, sustainable energy from the ocean, for example, new technologies which nobody has heard about it, but they work, they exist, So, and this is great. We have a sector especially for kids, for tourism, for sustainable travel, even for whale watching, it's you have solutions, and people are looking for that. They just want to have a more sustainable lifestyle. But I love it. It's great. I even want to reach the younger generation on TikTok. That's very important for us. Yeah, I think these are the people who are doing the most impact at the end. It's not the old people. The rich people, they might help you, supporting you. Companies, they do cooperation with you, but the real step into changing new things, having innovations, new startups, business, these are the young generation. So I do this also on TikTok.
I would assume like the wider the audience is, and the more like people you can reach, the better. Yeah, the more the merrier, I would say.
100%.
Just looked it up, like gemeinnütziger Verein means non-profit association, maybe.
Oh yeah, exactly, non-profit association. That's the one. Gemeinnütziger Verein.
Cool. So you already picked out some projects that were like very important for you, especially the one, for example, in Haiti. Do you also have like other projects that were that are like your favorite projects on Heroes of the Sea, or are they like all equally somehow?
Yeah, I mean, imagine I don't have favorite projects. I would say I'm really touched by people who are helping animals and they take care of animals, because they cannot do anything about these problems out there. So whenever people work for animals and rescue animals, that's really heart touching for me. And these projects I like the most. But on the other hand, I'm also very interested in technology and finding solution in the sustainable economic circle. And this is very important. But in total, the best is the whole database, because it compressed all together, So that's the best thing of it, that it's on one main page, because otherwise you would get lost by searching yourself for one thing. If you type in Google, how can I solve the plastic issue in the ocean, you might find some strange things or some articles or tons of material, but not selected, not on focus, not in a way of in a perspective of having these projects one after another and seeing obviously what they do. So that was main chapter and main issue for us to create Heroes of the Sea.
How can everyone support on the projects? Like, would there be something concrete you can suggest?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I would say, from my experience, do everything step by step and don't expect too much. Everything in life can come different. I give you an example. When we create Heroes of the Sea and when we publish that book, I felt like, how can I tell everybody out there that we are online, that we exist? So I came up with the idea of crossing the Atlantic Ocean in a rowboat to raise the attention to the Heroes of the Sea, to everybody on that platform. And I mean, imagine you do such a stupid, crazy thing. You know, you rowing the Atlantic Ocean. I have never been in a rowboat before. I never sailed on the ocean before. So we did that in 50 days and 50 nights, 3,500 miles from Gran Canaria to Barbados. And the back team in Munich, they had set up a huge German tournée with all these television appointment, newspapers, radio channel, podcasts. I was fully booked for 2021. And then you finally arrive in Barbados and the people are wearing masks and you are, what the fuck is going on? We had no idea. We had no connection to the outer world, you know? And then you realize, oh shit, that's a very bad timing, you know? We came back from Barbados, which takes only 9 hours to fly home, you know, rowing 50 days, flying back 9 hours. And then everybody got canceled. Everything got canceled. And the world is standing still, shocked by COVID-19. And nobody had any idea of what's going on. So, and then imagine the position you are, you know, imagine you have done everything to achieve, and then you failed 100%. Nothing. Everything was canceled. And that was a tough time for me. 2021, I had no idea what to do. We went completely broke. We couldn't keep following the work we were looking for. We had no promotion outcome from the Atlantic rowing, nothing. Most of the people doesn't know about that. I had to drink a lot of red wine for a couple of months. And then I had the idea, okay, wait a minute. I have so much time. Why not making a documentary film about these heroes? So we did that in the last 2 years. And I'm really, really proud of that movie. It just came out this year. And we won a lot of awards and nomination. And so I have another channel which I can give away and approve that it's gonna work. Keep doing what you're believing in. Be obsessed by what you want to do. Be obsessed by what you want to do, and you will achieve. And that brings you further, you know. Now we have the book, we have the film, we have the database. So now we do the club, and then we do a podcast channel. We do all the social media work, and this thing is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, you know. And I was not expecting this because of COVID. And then at the end, I can say, okay, COVID was bad. The war is very bad. Everything is very bad. But it also gives you a new perspective of your life, of what you're doing, a new chance to do something else which totally fits in your concept, you know. So it's like a big puzzle coming from nowhere. And at the end, I would say I'm happy that everything went the way it went, you know. Not regarding COVID and the war, but you know, probably I would not have do that movie when certain things were not taking place in 2021.
And you said like expecting not too much, going step by step, and even though some actions might be little and they are still worthy, even though maybe it's just going onto this platform and taking a look at projects, maybe there is something you're interested in, maybe you follow that action and maybe you find this association or this club, and maybe you travel there, and then maybe you even support them there for, I don't know, if you have a sabbatical or anything else. Like every small steps that you are taking is worth it, I think.
Yeah.
I agree.
I believe in the voice of every human being. I believe that everybody has a voice. Everybody can talk to their friends. Everybody can talk to family members, convince them to what they have discovered out there. You can even make a tweet by typing letters on a mobile device, telling the whole world of what you're thinking. So if you are convinced in something, if you believe in something, you can reach millions of people. So why not creating a database for everybody? Share your knowledge, share everything you know. And that's great. It feels just great. It feels like the right thing I'm doing, you know?
Maybe also when that topic came up about like taking smaller steps and taking trials and like, are you looking forward to the veganuary action, or are you trying to participate in that?
In the what?
Veganuary.
I don't know what it is. What I never heard about this.
To use the January as a month where you try vegan recipes and other vegan things, like not buying, I don't know, something made out of leather or something, or just for 1 month being more exposed to those topics.
Well, I never heard about this, but it sounds like a good idea. But I would rather tell everybody that you should never force people to push forward in these things. You know, that's like the how do you say, moralischer Zeigefinger, moralic fingers to push on somebody. You know, everybody has their own concept way to live a better, sustainable life. You know, so for example, I really rarely eat meat and fish, because I live in a place where there's no ocean. So why should I buy these things? You don't have to buy the mango fruits from from the other side of the world. You know, these kind of little things. But on the other hand, I'm not vegan. You know, so but I do respect vegans, and I do believe in their philosophic way. But on the other hand, you cannot get pushed by this opinion by just following this idea of the solution for everybody, you know? So I would say that everybody is already thinking about it, but everybody has to find their way to get a more sustainable lifestyle. And people are doing this. It became a trend already, you know? Even by, I mean, for example, you go to the beach, you know, acknowledge and educate your children to pick up some trash. And that's a cool thing already, you know. The kids are looking up to you. They think you're a great hero by doing that, you know. And the other people who avoid doing that, they're like, good that somebody is doing that. But they look up to you, you know. So you can become your hero on your own by just doing things, little things, you know. Whenever I go to the beach, I bring more stuff back and the way I went there, you know. So, for example, little things. And the children are seeing that. They think, oh, that's cool. You know, that guy is doing something. So everybody find their way to do something for our planet, no matter how. But we're on the big change, a big switch.
Like, what would be, so maybe now coming a bit to the end, your main thing, or the biggest lesson you would like to share?
It's one word: be obsessed. Be obsessed in what you do. Be always obsessed. Every night, every day, 100% obsessed, and you will achieve everything you want to achieve in your life.
Perfect. Thank you, York.
You're welcome.
For those words, maybe like people can find you on your website, I think.
Yeah. You can find everything on www.heroesofthesea.com, and you can watch the documentary film rather in English or in German language, and you will find all the links there, or probably we can put it here in the subtitle of that YouTube video. That would be great.
Yeah, I think we can also share that then in the YouTube video as soon as it's uploaded.
Yeah, cool. And then, of course, guys, follow me on social media. I'm going to come up every Wednesday at 12 o'clock with a new video, 1 minute, explaining you the ocean solutions.
All right, then. See you soon somewhere.
Thank you very much.